A time now for All Things Gators, All Things Orange and Blue. Frank Frangie and another worked-up Dan Hickens.
No.
What's up, Hick?
No. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, se-ortho.com in Jacksonville for all your orthopedic needs. We'll start with basketball.
I think we should.
And listen, I've said it all along here. I don't think they're making the tournament. You've said that. You don't think they're making the tournament. Right. It's weird to me how we didn't get enough boost from the Auburn win.
Yeah.
They penalized Florida more for the A&M loss, and they didn't get the boost from the Auburn one that I thought they were still first four out, and suddenly they had to beat Arkansas as well. I didn't think they were going to beat Arkansas, and they didn't.
I'll tell you my take on that, because no matter how much it seems like it's scientific and mathematical, and it's not. A lot of it, even with Joey Buckets, a lot of it is gut and feel.
Yep.
And I think most people felt like the Auburn win was a little bit of a fluke or an outlier, and that they were going to turn around and lose to Arkansas. I think if people thought the Auburn won, and I know it's more mathematical than that.
Right.
But I think if there was a general belief that the Auburn win was going to kickstart something, it would have been viewed differently. None of us believe that.
Right.
You and I both thought they weren't going to turn around and beat Arkansas. They're
not very good.
Correct. They're probably not. They're not an NCAA tournament team.
No.
We've seen that enough. There's not enough offense there.
Now, they still have a chance, but neither of us think they're going to win. Do you think they're going to win both Georgia and Vandy?
Well, let me just say, no.
I don't either.
I don't. I think they're going to beat Georgia Saturday. We're doing this on Friday, by the way. I think they're going to beat Georgia, which would be tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think they're probably going to lose their last two.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. In a weird sort of way, if they beat Georgia and Vandy and lose to Kentucky, they would then be 9-9 and 19-13 or something like that. What are they now?
19-12.
That's a 19.
If they
go
2-1, they're 17-11.
They'd be 19-12 and 9-9. And I think they would have hope to get in. Whether they belong in or not is not the question.
Yeah,
I think there'd be hope that they could get in.
Okay.
I would guess that they're not.
Yeah.
But I would think that there would be hope that they could.
Okay.
If you'd ask me to bet, I'd bet that they're not.
That's what I would bet.
If they lose 2 of the 3, they're out.
Yeah.
If they lose 2 of the 3, they're out.
Yeah.
If they win 2 of the 3, even losing to Kentucky, 19-12, 9-9, win once in the tournament, there's hope that they get in. I don't think they're going to get in, but I'm just telling you.
19 wins with that team, Frank, is an impressive coaching job. Now, you can blame Mike White for that team, too. I understand that part of it.
For constructing
it.
Yeah,
I get that. I'm okay. But to win 19 with those guys, and there they are with a 6-point lead against Arkansas later in the second half, and then they fell back. They go cold like they always do. But yet, again, Myron Jones, 2 straight 3 balls from the corner, same spot. When shooters miss the first one and somehow it comes back to them like a moment later, they always nail the second one if they're a shooter. He missed it.
And the bottom line is this. Here's the lesson learned. If you're hinging your hopes essentially on a team of guys who came in from Missouri, Kansas City, and Charleston Southern, and Penn State and Boston College, and Louisiana Tech and Cleveland State, if you're basing your program on guys that failed at those spots, you're probably in trouble.
They didn't fail at those spots. Myron Jones led Penn State in scoring.
Good point.
Right?
But if you're basing your program on guys that came from those non-basketball powers.
Not all of those. If you add a couple of those,
that's different.
That's okay. Kentucky, the best shooter in the SEC is from Davidson.
No question.
Right?
And the best post guy is from West Virginia.
The best player in college basketball
from West Virginia.
might be the Toshiba guy from West Virginia.
But the point is, you can't build a team with all that. And it also
you got to mix in recruits.
And it shows that they haven't recruited much else.
Right.
So listen, you and I are on the same page.
You're a little more harsh.
Well,
I'm a little more. I'm fighting you guys.
Yeah,
I'm fighting you.
Well, I don't think they should fire Mike.
Nasty on Twitter too. Don't be nasty. And if you're 20 or 22, it's Mr. Hickens.
Well,
don't come at me with what are you? You're a punk kid. You know who you are. Don't come at me with that. I'll send Drew or Brooks over there, and they can handle that. So don't do that.
I love
a little
that.
respect. You learn respect for your elders.
Yeah. By the way, everyone made fun of Bob Knight when the guy said, "Hey, Knight," and he wanted to fight him.
Yeah.
But the older we get, why are they calling us by our last name?
No.
I don't get that. So,
Mr. Hicken. That's all. Serious thing about the team, though, about the program.
I do think neither one of us think Mike White should be fired or was going to be fired.
Right.
But I do think they've got to make some improvements. I'm just not in this belief that the way to improve is fire the guy. That's where we are. We are in this.
Right.
We're in this era of fire the guy, fire the guy, fire the guy. And the other thing we're in this era of younger Gator fans, 30-something and under, think the way it's supposed to be is dominant program because of all this tradition. And I say, there's no tradition.
None.
Florida was
there's one 20-year piece of tradition because of the coach.
Right. Florida, LSU, Auburn. I'll say this again. I said it on the radio show. Florida, LSU, Auburn, Tennessee, Georgia. If any of those 5 wind up with a Billy Donovan, they can win championships.
Frank,
other than that, they're middling college basketball.
You said it perfectly, and I said this yesterday. Florida, has a better resume than Tennessee, a better resume basketball-wise than Tennessee, than Auburn, than LSU, but only because of Billy Donovan.
Correct. And
that's all I'm trying to explain to people. Billy Donovan is a needle in a haystack. If you want to keep – and then they try to do the football thing. Well, thank God we didn't have that attitude. Football's apples and oranges, gang.
Right.
Football, we deserve to be in the Final Four. We have underperformed. We deserve to hold coaches accountable. We have fan passion.
Right.
We have – I mean, it's every resource there to be successful.
Yeah. What puzzles me, and you've made this point, is people that don't really care that much about basketball.
Yeah.
Don't go to the games.
No. They like to argue, though.
Aren't that but want the coach fired.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't think, one thing that when you have the right to want the coach fired is when not only go to the games, but when they lose, it ruins your whole weekend. It ruins your week. You wake up in a bad mood. I don't think
maybe you watch the whole game.
Yeah,
I mean, listen, here's the thing. You played Auburn, great atmosphere, a lot of Auburn fans, but great atmosphere, sold out house Saturday. Probably, it's the one, and they'll be like that for Kentucky.
Yeah.
Okay. But great atmosphere, Auburn, blah, blah, blah. Great win. Storm the court, have fun. I'm so happy. I get 48 hours, but I know Arkansas is coming. And I see the pan. I didn't go to Arkansas. I see the pan of the O-Dome.
Yeah, a lot of empty seats. Yeah.
If the game was in Arkansas, what would the attendance have been for Florida at Arkansas Tuesday night at 7?
19,000.
Thank you.
And you couldn't get a seat.
Thank you.
But so how do they get? So we all agree.
And I'm not just. You guys always take this like you're blaming the fan. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm explaining to you why it's so tough to recruit better.
So here's my question. So how does Florida get better? Because we all want them to be better.
Sure.
I want them to be elite again.
Yeah.
I don't think firing the coach is the answer because I don't think the next coach is going to be better than this coach. The only way
you said it, second best coach out of the 17 in the history.
In the history of the program.
Which is fair. That's accurate.
Yeah, and so the only way the next guy's going to be better is now. Do you fire him every 3 years until you find the next?
You can try that if you want. But understand, you might be 3-20 one year.
Right. Well, look at all the schools. Go through the whole SEC.
You're so right.
Until Auburn found Bruce Pearl.
Yep.
They went through 10 of them. They're all bad.
LSU.
Ever since Dale
Arkansas
Brown,
since Nolan Richardson left.
They keep firing them until they find the right guy.
And then the argument. Well, it's been 7 years. It's never going to. Okay. I present to you the case of one, I believe his name is Scott Drew.
Yeah.
He's at Baylor.
Right.
Now, he came into an untenable situation.
Right.
But in the first 10 years, you know how many tournaments he went to? 3.
Right. That's
3
right.
And had losing records.
It took 6 years to win a tournament
You know
game.
what year he won his national championship? 17th year.
It took 6 years to win a tournament game.
Yeah.
So, but let me ask you this. So, assuming Mike White stays, I think he's going to, what do they do? He's got a good class coming in.
Yep.
I don't know basketball well enough to know, but I know this. When Billy Donovan brought in Larry Shyatt, it changed the team defensively. There was a difference in maturity.
Yeah.
Does Mike White need – because Mike White hasn't gone and found that guy. His assistants have tended to be young guys.
He got some guys who can recruit now in there a little bit more.
But they're still young guys.
Yes.
Do you have to go – and again, I'm not basketball savant enough to know. I just know Billy did it.
Right.
Do you go get veteran – I can tell one thing that Michigan did. I'm glad they're glad they did it. Juwan Howard went in the offseason, Dan, and he went and got Phil Martelli, who had been the St. Joe's coach, 60-some-year-old guy, and he brought a level of maturity. You'd never know it the way Juwan Howard acts.
Right.
But does Florida need to do that? A veteran guy, maybe help them offensively. Is that the move for Florida rather than keep going and getting young recruiters on the staff? And I don't know enough to know, but it's if they're going to keep Mike White, which I hope
the coaches.
they do.
Listen, it's interesting because Jordan Mincy's had a terrific year at JU,
right?
But he might be better suited as a head guy.
And you know what Jordan Mincy did at JU? He went and got Scott Cherry, I think that's his name, who was the head coach. Guys, High Point or App State or
one High Point because that's Tubby.
Okay, so you're right, but he's been a head coach for like 25 years.
Oh, so a veteran
guy, and he's a guy
that might help. Maybe they add another coach.
Leonard Hamilton went and got this guy Stan Jones, older veteran guy. Does Mike need that on his staff?
I don't know, but I do know. I like the group they brought in. I do know they're recruiting better. Now again. They're all leaving, so he's going to have. Well, I think he's going to have to work the portal.
Yeah.
Again, you got to bring in, and again, the portal's interesting because Frank, you mentioned the colleges that they're from, but would you, as a basketball coach, I think you would rather have a proven 22-year-old, even from Kansas City, Missouri, or wherever, than a true freshman that you got to count on to go through it the first time.
Yeah, they got.
Wouldn't you?
Yes, but they got the wrong collection. You need a collection of defense, offense, rebound, big, small.
I don't know if it's wrong. It's just too many.
Well,
we didn't have enough mixture.
That's part of it, but it's wrong, Dan, because nobody can shoot. I mean, if you go get four new players, and none of them can shoot, and you add them to a team where nobody can shoot, you wind up with a team that nobody can shoot, and that's the problem.
Nobody can shoot is an age-old argument in basketball. And I mean, listen, I'm really good friends with Kentucky people.
Yeah.
They tell me all the time, the knock on Cal, he won't get shooters. And then we watched at the high school level, I watched these kids who are, 6 foot, 6'1".
Make everything.
But they won't ever get a sniff because they're not tall enough to play D1. And they'll take the athlete.
And the belief is those guys can't get their shot.
And I understand that. Yeah, but if you have an unbelievable point guard who can drive and dish, he's my guy can spot up and hit 4 of those in a game. Yeah. I got 12 points.
Yeah, I do. And I wish it was that easy.
It's that easy. But why won't you believe me?
But you really do have to go get better shooters.
Yes.
The one thing, for a while,
Lee Humphrey's not walking through that door.
But for a while,
Michael Frazier's not walking through that door.
But for a while there, they got Igor and they got Kenyon Barry and they went out and got guys who could shoot the basketball. Yeah. The Simon, the guy that played only 1 year and left, I thought he was going to be a good shooter.
Yeah.
They've got to find – and look.
I agree with you.
And by the way, in all these transfers, here's what went wrong. I'm not going to hang on one guy.
Yeah.
They knew that Fleming was a defensive long guy, a slasher.
Yeah.
They knew McKissick was an energy guy, but wasn't much of an offensive guy. Felder, big body.
Yeah.
They needed Myron Jones to be a shooter. They needed Myron Jones. If he's not going to be Lee Humphrey or Michael Frazier – he needed at least be Kayvon Allen.
If he was like that because listen,
they needed him to be a shooter.
Florida's formula for success this year is real easy. And again, they didn't have Castleton for a stretch, but he's developed.
Really good player.
I mean, he outplayed the Arkansas big man. He outplayed Kessler
twice.
The last 2. He's all SEC, bro.
Yeah, he's a really good.
He's been terrific.
Yeah.
But so you count on him, and then you need one of those guys, specifically Myron Jones. 3 out of 4 games to be knocking down threes.
Right.
Now, Appleby can step up like he did against Auburn, but he ain't going to do it every game. Yeah. Those other guys, they're not going to do it every game. But if Myron Jones does it every game, you mix in a couple other ones, you're in perfect shape.
Here's the problem. Appleby is a better shooter than Myron Jones, but he plays out of control. He's not sure. Sometimes he passes good shots so he can cross over and step back and take a worse shot.
Oh, Frank.
Jones is fundamentally way better.
Yeah.
But he's not nearly as athletic or gifted.
Yeah.
So Jones knows what's a good shot.
Yeah.
He just doesn't make enough of them.
Yeah.
Appleby isn't sure he's shooting falling out of bounds shots.
Yeah.
He's passing up easy ones.
It's unbelievable.
But anyway, I don't think they're in this year. Final thought on basketball before we move on. My concern is I know they've got some good recruits coming in.
It's going to be tough next year.
Because their young players.
The drumbeat will continue, my friend.
But if you look at the young players, Kawasi Reeves and Kennedy, they're just okay.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Reeves develops because he can shoot it. He's a 6'7" guy that can shoot it.
Right.
But they're just okay.
Yeah.
It's not like there's a freshman that, oh, boy, when he gets some minutes. I don't feel that.
We need to go find the Davidson kid who went to Kentucky. Yeah. They got to go find one of those shooters.
Yeah, that's right.
Who can make some shots because they have some size coming in, but it's going to take time.
They beat Georgia tomorrow?
I say I think so, but they were only up by 3 against Georgia in the second half. Georgia seems terrible, though.
Yeah,
but Florida doesn't blow anybody out, and that's the concern. And it finally happened against A&M.
I think they'll beat Georgia. I'm not convinced against Vanderbilt. I'm pretty convinced they won't beat Kentucky.
Yeah.
I think they're in the NIT. Let's move to baseball.
And by the way, just one more thing. The NIT doesn't matter this year because they're all leaving. Yeah. It's good for them, and you're excited, but you're not getting extra games to help your young guys.
That's right. I agree.
Oh, well.
Baseball.
Yeah. It's going to take a little time.
Yeah, well.
Let's see the pitching first. We got to see the pitching develop. Had a good midweek.
Here's my concern. I think they'll find their pitchers.
Then they'll be okay.
Barco's obviously really good. They're using Coppola and Manning again, those 3 lefties in the weekend. Sproat was pretty good during the week. This closer, Ryan Slater, he's going to be good. I think can they score? I worry about. I mean, they just won a 3-1 game.
Yeah,
they had a couple games over the weekend against Liberty where they didn't score. And here's my concern. They've got a lot of guys back from last year, but when a college team brings back a lot of hitters, that meant they weren't ready to leave.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope Sterling Thompson looks like he may be their star.
He looks good.
He's
big.
Bomber.
I think Halter will be fine.
I do too.
The Fabian brothers are,
up and down.
We need them to be big.
But then it's Kalalau and Armstrong and those middle. This guy Wyatt Langford looks like he's going to be a hitter.
Yeah.
These guys in the middle of the order have to start hitting. But I think they'll look. I think Florida's always going to be good at baseball.
Yeah.
But I do think that it wasn't that long ago where it was not just good,
elite.
It was Vanderbilt and Florida and everybody else.
Yeah,
I think they've slipped off that perch.
They have.
It feels like they're not on that perch anymore.
And I listen. You lost the opening series.
Yeah,
it's early. I get it, but you want to erase, like you wanted to go out and make a statement that it's us and Vandy and everybody else.
Yeah.
You ain't done that yet.
No, and so we'll have to see.
You've left the concern level there.
Yeah, Vandy, by the way, lost their opening series too, but it was to Oklahoma.
A little different.
A little bit different.
Than Liberty, who, by the way, had an unbelievable uniform reveal. Shout out to them.
That was really good. And finally, football recruiting. You still feeling good?
Oh, yeah.
All those 5 stars are visiting, man.
Yes.
I don't know how many are coming. But it seems like there's more visiting than ever before, doesn't it?
It's to
they're
me,
all coming.
Arch is a great symbol of what's happening there. And I don't think they're going to get them. And maybe they will. Maybe I don't think they will. But it's a great symbol. What's coming? But you listen. There's a couple other things we have to touch on.
Okay.
You have some explaining to do. Unacceptable loss to Vandy last night by our women's basketball team.
I saw that.
I mean, you
well,
explain yourself.
I think they're allowed one.
Okay. Because that's coming off the LSU loss.
I'm the Kelly Ray Finley.
I know you are,
club.
And I'm fine with her getting the job. I'm a little miffed at you.
Yeah, I think you're allowed a bad. LSU's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The Vanderbilt game was just a bad performance.
Okay.
They just played.
That's enough. We don't have to spend too much. Secondly, showdown tonight. Number 2 against number 3.
Are you
Florida, Oklahoma?
Are you talking Friday Night Heights?
We're talking the two powerhouses on the beam, buddy.
You're telling me in a podcast you just read Friday Night Heights?
I just brought that in.
I'm going to ask my friend Lauren Brooks.
You better get something from her today on the show because
she's the beat reporter.
She better have a breakdown because this is a big one.
This is,
as you know,
and I do know,
we won a natty.
Yeah.
Then we won a natty with a tie with Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Then we won another natty in 3 straight years.
Yeah.
Then Oklahoma took over,
right?
And they won 2 or 3.
You need a victory tonight.
We need to get back on top. We must take down OU. I don't know if Stoops is coming. I don't know if Riley's coming. But I know this. We need to beat them Sooners and pay them back for that Cotton Bowl.
You know what? I like it. I like the way I like your anger. Spencer Rattler. I just do. He's not even there anymore.
Stick it up.
Yeah. So.
Thank you, Frank.
All right. So
I'm good there.
There you go.
Is there anything else? I have any other things to touch on? Softball.
You
mentioned softball.
Why'd you brush right by football recruiting? You just brushed. You went brush. It was a total brush by. It was a brush by.
Because it's kind of a dead period.
But you're the guy. You're the recruiter. I mean, listen. You don't know much. The one little thing you know in the world is football recruiting. So I'm trying to tee you
money
up.
Don't make money, bro.
Okay, very good.
Every time you ask me about recruiting for the next
there
2
you
weeks.
go. Basketball, I think they're not in the tournament. Baseball, I think they'll find themselves. It looks like they're recruiting pretty well. All right, that's All Things Gators, All Things Orange and Blue. Dan Hicken, Frank Franz.
Thank you, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, se-ortho.com. Just don't be so angry. Not so angry. Let's just, we could converse, but don't be angry. Have a great week.